Hello there! Welcome back to Argos Dog Training YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about introducing an electronic training collar to a dog. I'm going to use my dog So, good boy, down. Excellent. I'm going to use my dog So to introduce this. Now I know a little while ago I made a video saying that I wasn't using an electronic training collar with So. I've changed my mind. In this video, I'm going to show you how to put on an electronic training collar, how to condition a dog to an electronic training collar, and I'm going to talk about why I changed my mind. So why did I decide to train using an electronic training collar with So? Maybe it's best if I start with why I didn't. A lot of people use the tool, this electronic training collar, because they want their dog to come back to them in the field. Or when there's distractions, when there are squirrels, when there are things like that. That's not why I'm using an electronic training collar with So. So does great with those things. He comes back to me whenever I call him to. He works well off leash. Another reason why people use an electronic training collar is to punish the dog for behavior that they don't like. Now for me, I don't need that. I don't need, like So, all I have to do is say no in a stern voice, and it's like he gets really sad about it. He really shows a lot of submissive behavior if you just say no in a firm voice. The reason I'm using the electronic training collar with So is two. One of them is that I want to show that you don't have to be a big meanie to use this tool. You don't have to use it in a way to be really punitive. You don't have to punish them. You don't have to use it in a way that harms the dog or harms your relationship with the dog in any way. Another reason why I'm going to use the electronic training collar with So is because although his communication and his ability to follow instructions is really good, they can be sharper. He could be positioned a little better, and electronic training collar can help me to communicate those ideas. Another reason why I want to use electronic training collar with So is because I use it very differently than anybody I've met. Maybe there are other people who are doing it. I just apply different philosophies and ideas into the tool that I'm using, and I want to show that. For example, I want to show that you can use this tool as a way to reward a dog, as a marker, kind of like a clicker that you can use as a signal that you're going to tell the dog that you're going to be rewarded for what you just did. You can use this tool as a way to give commands without being heard. Silent commands with no movement. Does every owner need these things? No. But showing how the tool can be used as a complete communication tool really shows the true value of the tool more than, hey, stop doing that or I'm gonna light you up. So that is why I'm using the tool. One treat. Hey, good, thank you. Okay, so which e-collar to use? Which one am I using? I'm using this, I don't want to really mention the name of the electronic training collar. It is a pretty good tool though, but I don't support the owner of the company. Anyway, this is the tool I'm using. This is a part of the tool I'm using. This is an advanced collar. It is not like the things that that they used in the 50s and so forth. So first thing, it has a magnetic turn on. It'll flash green when it's on. So this is our receiver. This is our transmitter. On this, on my finger here, I'm wearing a little ring. And this ring basically makes it so that when I press this button, it's like I pressed this button, basically. That's all that ring does. So that I could put this in my pocket or whatever. I could hide this little ring button. It's easy for me to hide, so I could really disassociate the feeling that the dog is feeling from me doing anything, really. So that's pretty good. Transmitter, receiver, ring button thingy, right? Oh, over here I have this little sound box. I like to use this whenever I'm working with clients for the first time, because then they know when I press the button. So if I do this, I could turn it up, make it louder just in case. I keep it low for most of my clients. I just keep the box near them. So when I press this button, it reaches this, and then this sends it to both these devices, basically. If I press it here, that will happen. All right, so the next thing is the receiver. Receiver must go on the dog for it to work, obviously. So, good boy. I have a bungee collar that I put on it. So, on my electronic training collar. So it's real easy for me to put it on him. And they'll have these little blue things sticking out. I like this because then, especially for my YouTube channel, I like this because then my YouTube viewers will be able to see whenever I'm using the e-collar and when I'm not. Now, I know a lot of people out there believe that electronic training collars are cruel and that people who use them are abusing dogs. If you're watching this video and you're one of those people, I ask that you just shout out a comment. You know, tell me that it's cruel. Tell me why you believe it's cruel, so that way I could kind of address those things in the video. I know that there's a lot of people who use them very foolishly. My hope is that these videos will reach out to people so that they don't continue to use their electronic training collars foolishly. I believe that they're an excellent tool. If you think that electronic training collars are a terrible tool, reach out. Tell me why you feel that way. Maybe I could address it. Maybe you're right. You know, maybe I could address it and show you that, like, the ideas of it is not what it is, you know, and that's the real main reason why I'm making these videos. I could train my dog with electronic training collar and never tell you all about it, you know, but I want to make sure that you understand what it is, so that way, if you're in a position where you need this tool, you know how to use it. What we're going to do now is I'm going to introduce it to him. He's never worn this tool before, and I'm going to introduce it to him the way that I introduce it. Right now I have the transmitter set at the number 4, right? And this goes up to 100. It goes from 4 to 100 pretty easy by just spinning that dial here. So I'm going to take the transmitter, because I'm using the button anyway. I'm gonna put that in my pocket. Now what I wanna do is I wanna make an association, a cold association with this dog with Soul here, that when I tap this button 2 times really quickly, that I'm gonna give him food. I want him to have that association. This is just like a clicker, right? The only difference is, right now you're gonna hear it through the box, but in time this whole communication will be silent. The idea is that I wanna be able to set up a code that is a terminal bridge for the dog. So I go like this. Now I need to do this 75 to 100 times before before this will become kind of associated. You can see his head turns a little bit when he feels that stimulation. So I know he feels it, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn down my electronic training collar. I'm gonna do that one more time so you guys can see. Right, there's no pain there. He doesn't look in any way distraught. He's not leaving the area. He's not leaving the spot. So we know that there's no problem, but I see him kind of turn a little bit. His head turns a little bit, and I would like to see if that gets lower if I transmit. If that head turn gets less, if I transmit at a lower level. I want there to be no sign that the dog feels it. I don't want the dog, because once I know that he feels it, and I will be able to test it once I have this association, whether he feels it or not. All right, so now I'm just getting this down to 3 here. I'm gonna lock that in so it doesn't accidentally change when it's in my pocket. So now it's locked in. It doesn't matter if I spin the dial. It's a good tool. The owner's just a jerk. The owner of the company is a jerk. But anyway, here we go. Oh, that changes the sound. When I went to 3, it changed the sound on the box. So it's gonna sound like da-da-da here instead of the way it sounded before. But I know I'm pressing the button twice. So I do this for 75 to 100 times. Now what happens, or 150 times, what happens in time when you don't have the box on is that you could tell that the dog knows that you're going to give him a treat because they'll look for you expecting a treat. Right? That's the way associations work. Same thing with the clicker. With the clicker, you double click it and then the dog will look at you. If they like the treat and they know that the treat is coming from you, they are going to look at you, right? So that's the first thing that I do when I'm introducing a training collar, electronic training collar, is I turn it down really low and I just double tap and I give the food to the dog. Right, really low. They're very sensitive. They could feel it a lot lower than a human can feel it. And what I do through this is that I condition the dog to think that the feeling of the electronic training collar is a positive, a natural positive. It's not a negative. Our traditional marker word is the word YES, right? Yes. He always looks at me when I say his traditional marker word, right? It's going to kind of be the same thing with this electronic training collar as we practice it, is that he's going to start to, as soon as I double tap, he's going to start to look at me quickly, come closer to me, and that's going to be my signal that he feels the stimulation as he should. Now I'm going to start training him with the electronic training collar. Now that I know that he feels it, I know the sensation, the level that he needs to be at, I'm going to explore that a little bit, making sure that like in all different environments, he feels it the same. It's kind of like whispering to a person. These very light touches are kind of like whispering to a person. So if I whisper to a person in a quiet room, I know that my communication will go through. But if I'm in the middle of a stadium, watching a football game, and I whisper to a person, I could be pretty sure that that whisper won't go through. I need to raise my voice. I need to raise the energy. So in the case with the voice, it'll be turning up my voice. In the case with the electronic training collar, it'll be turning up the E-collar. A level like a level 4, where he feels it here and his muscles jump a little bit, he turns a little bit, and it looks like, all right, maybe I want to be lower. A level 4 in a stadium environment will not do that. But anyway, if you hate the tool, let me know. If you love the tool, I don't really care to hear from you anyway. I don't care. You know, if you love the tool, great. You obviously know what you're doing and you know what it is. If you use the tool only for punishment, let me know. We could talk about that. Maybe you're misusing the tool. Maybe you don't even need to punish your dog. Maybe if you just live with your dog better, you wouldn't need to, light them up. Maybe. So if you like lighting up dogs because it's fun for you, please let me know too, especially if you're a dog trainer. I would like to make sure that we get the proper authorities out to see you. All right. So I hope this is useful. Till next time, enjoy your dog. Hey, look, it's a Dougie. Go say hi if you want. Good boy. Look, it's 2 doggies. I know these dogs. I've seen you guys before.